Alex. Alex is our neighbor, and it's so difficult to to introduce a neighbor, and that's why we wanted you to introduce yourself so that the community can get to know you a bit more what else you do, because we know in the community you're always choosing the right things for us. So, and that's why we felt like you taking us through this topic on choices will be something that will be so exciting for all of us, so we can benefit from your wise. We know you do so many things and you're quite busy even now, but you've accepted to spare these 30 minutes to just speak to the community about choices. This whole month, we have been talking about choices on the Lunch and Learn WhatsApp group. So if you're not part of the WhatsApp group, please feel free to join, because this whole month, we have been talking about choices and saying that choices is really a decision that we make after a certain age. You really decide on a number of things, but are we aware of these? And so we are excited to have this. And I also just want to thank Francis, who has been giving us every day a quote or a saying around choices this whole month, the month of October. So November, we shall have something else, but we are excited. And so to crown off this whole month where we have been talking about choices, we have Alex Mugabe, who is going to take us through that. So most welcome, Alex, and feel free to introduce yourself further than just saying wonderful neighbor. Yes, we know you do quite a number of things, even helping us spiritually to nourish our spiritual lives, because that is also critical. So thank you. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you, good neighbor, Joanne.
Yeah.
It's interesting that's that's the closest that it gets.
It's so close.
Yes, very. For those of you who might not be aware, Joanne or Francis and ourselves, we can actually hold conversations across from our windows. That's how that's how close we are in terms of where we stay. But thank you so much, Joanne, for having me. Good afternoon, friends. My name is Alex Mugabe. Those of you who know where Francis and John stay in Glenville Gardens, that's where myself and my family stay. Like we have just mentioned, we are neighbors. But besides that, I'm involved in mentoring leaders, particularly young people in schools, through the I Lead program with the Franklin Institute, which by God's grace, my wife and I founded. And we do leadership and mentorship and leadership training for professionals really across the board. Personally, my full-time vocation, if I should say, I'm a pastor. I think that's the easiest way to put it. But I don't usually like to use pastor because it's so narrow. And today, the word does, in some circles, the word doesn't carry, as we say, good vibes. So I usually try to avoid it, but I can't. So that's what I do full-time at a church called St. Philip Church here in Chira. That's what I do full-time. But I'm also a full-time father and husband. My wife and I, we have 3 children. And it's a pleasure to be with you this afternoon. And I was asked by Francis and Joanne to share about choices. It's an interesting topic, especially if I was sharing this in a school context, it's a lot easier. But sharing it with people who have had the opportunity of making a few choices, it can be challenging, but I pray that it all goes well. If we were in the same room, I would have asked for some responses, and if we had much time, really, what you think of choices, what you know about choices, what you understand when someone says choices. But I'll start it off by asking you to think back of a gift you have received in your entire life. Look back and see, and think of that one gift that you have received that you treasured so much. Think about why you treasured it, what it meant for you, how you treated it when you received it. And then we'll start from there. Think of a gift you have received that you most treasured. Something must have come to mind concerning a gift you have received in your lifetime that you treasured so much, and you know how you treated it, how you put it to use. And I would like to share mine. I had the opportunity and the privilege, really, now I look back and know that it is a privilege, of growing up in the village, up country, in a rural setting. And the gift that comes to mind is when my uncle bought me a 1-liter jerrycan to use to fetch water. I can't tell you how I was excited about it, but to date, I've received so many gifts, but I think to date, it's the most exciting gift I've ever received. I was excited about this small white jerrycan, 1 liter, because finally I could also go to the well and bring some water. And whenever people would be going to the well, I would tag along. I don't remember. I was probably maybe 3-4 years. I would tag along with so much excitement. I'm also finally going to be able to bring water home. And I mean, so many years ago, but it has lived with me. I treasured that gift so much. And you can think of what you have received in life as a gift and that you have treasured so much. What has this got to do with choices? I would like it, again, choices, it's a vast topic that you could start addressing it from any point, but I would like to start it from this point. That choice is a gift. The ability to make choices is a divine gift that we human beings have received. Think about it for a moment. Would you think that the ability to make choices is a gift? You must be familiar with John Maxwell, and this is what he says, that one of the most important gifts one can receive is the gift of making, is the ability to make choices. And every time I think about this, yeah. If we were not able to make choices, what would life be like? But thank God, he saw it fit that we should be able to make choices. You'll excuse me if you're not familiar with religious lingo. I think by nature of my trade, occasionally it will escape through, but it is okay. I hope you're not offended. Now, thinking about the making choices as a gift, one might ask, how about those choices we have no control about or we have no control over? Because yes, there are some choices that we have no control over. We all know. We don't choose how, when, or where we are born. We don't choose who our parents are at least biological. We don't choose siblings. There are so many things that we don't have a choice about. So how does that become a gift? Some people are born in better circumstances than others. How does it become a gift? I think there has to be a starting point. And the starting point is that we start from a place of no choices. We are not able to make choices. And perhaps even when we are children, when we are babies, when we are growing up, we don't get to make many choices. But here is something else that John Maxwell says. The gift of making choices, or the ability to make choices, increases with age. We start from that place where we are not in position to make many choices. But as we grow, we have more liberty, we have more leeway to make choices, to make our own choices. So we move from the point of not able to make choices to being able to make some limited choices, to the point where almost everything about us comes down to the choices we make. So choice is not only a gift, but it is a very important element of life, or in our lives. It's a gift, but not just a gift. It's a great gift. It's a powerful gift. A gift that has power to make or break. Let's talk about another element of choices. The permanence of choices and the impermanence of choices. I think this makes choice making or choices like a coin, because there are some choices that we make and they are permanent. Their impact, their outcome is permanent. You can think of some. And there are some choices which we might have the ability to reverse, or at least to change course. So choice, this beautiful, powerful gift of choice, is like a coin. It has two sides. There are those choices that you will make, and their impact is permanent. There are those choices we make, and their impact is reversible, or at least adjustable or changeable. Now you notice that because of the time, we are not really talking about this. We are not going into the philosophical arguments of all this. We're just really pointing out the key highlights that we associate with choices or choice making. So I've mentioned choice, or the ability to make choices, is a gift. It is a wonderful, powerful gift that has the power to make or break. Choices are like a two-sided coin. Some choices are permanent, some are reversible. Now let's talk about the benefits of choice. Being a wonderful gift, what are some of the benefits of choice, or of making choices, of being able to make choices? Why should we call it a gift? First, with the ability to make choices, we have freedom. It sets us free. We are not bound. You can determine what you will do. You can determine what you will not do. You can determine where you will go. you can determine where you will not go just by making a choice. So you have the freedom to be, you have the freedom to do, you have the freedom to exercise whatever ability that you would like to exercise. You have the freedom to change your profession. You have the freedom to marry or to stay celibate. You have the freedom to do so much because of the ability to make choices. If we didn't have the ability to make choices, we would be bound. It is this and that's it. You have, as we say, you have no choice. But you notice that with the ability to make choice, even where we say, I have no choice, even that in itself is a choice. We usually talk about if someone, put me at gunpoint and said, give me your wallet. I can give him my wallet, and then I will say I had no choice. But guess what? I had a choice. I could have chosen to refuse to give him the wallet. And that we'll talk about that element of choice later. Secondly, control. The ability to make choices puts you in control of your life. As we say, something that probably is cliche these days, you are in control to a large extent of your destiny. Because you choose what to do and what not to do. You choose how to do what you are doing and how not to do it. So the ability to make choices gives us control. It sets us free and it puts us in control of our lives. Number 3, direction. With the ability to make choices, you can determine the direction you want to go. In my education journey, I started with a diploma and then I enrolled for a bachelor's. And in the course of my first year, I had enrolled for a course of 4 years. In the course of my first year, I realized that this course I was doing was not leading me to what I wanted to do. So I considered change of courses, and you know what that means. And I was studying with the University of South Africa, where I was paying a lot of money. So do I lose a whole year? What do I do? But I took the choice, I changed courses. And in so doing, I changed the trajectory of my professional life. So with the ability to make choices, you can influence, you can determine the direction that you want to go, the direction that your life will take. With the ability to make choices, we are able to improve. We are able to get better. I can assess my life today, and I think I would like to be better tomorrow, or I would like to do better tomorrow than I did yesterday. And I can choose to do certain things that will help me to get better, that will help me to improve. If we didn't have the ability to make choices, we would be stuck. We would be stuck in circumstances. If you were born, like myself, who was raised in a rural area, probably I would have remained there. You think of all sorts of scenarios that if we were not able to make choices, our ability to improve, to change things about our lives, to change things about the way we do things would have been limited. So with the ability to make choices, we are able to improve, we are able to get better, we are able to grow. And lastly, with the ability to make choices, we have the possibility of maximizing our potential. We have the possibility of reaching our highest potential. Because we can choose that I'm going to do A, B, C, D, and G to get to where I would like to get, or to achieve this, or to attain this. And so these are some of the benefits of choices: freedom, control, direction, improvement, and maximizing potential. So let me also talk about the value of choices. And I'll summarize this in this way. I mentioned it earlier, that your choices can make you. Earlier I said choices can make or break, but now I'm putting it this way. Your choices, my choices, can make me. And surely we are a total sum of the choices we make. Think about your life journey, think about your career, think about your social engagements. All these are dependent on the choices we make. And because we make these choices that impact the direction and the nature of our lives, there's a lot that happens in life that really affects how our lives become. But the choices we make have a lot to do with how our lives turn out. Some things are outside our control. I mean, think of sickness, think of accidents, think of all sorts of things. But to a large extent, the choices we make have a great impact on how our lives turn out. And that's what we mean when we say your choices can make you, your choices can break you. And we know so many people, or pray you know so many people in your circles, whom you think if they had chosen differently, their lives would have turned out differently. Then I would like to talk about the necessity of vision. And I would like to connect this to direction. We talked about how choices can help us to shape the direction of our lives. It is important that we have a sense of direction. We have a sense of, where would I like to go? Where would I like to see myself? What would I like to do? What would I like to accomplish? What would I like my life to be in future? And so it is important that we have a sense of direction, a sense of vision, so that our choices are building into that. Because if we don't have that, then our choices will be haphazard. Our choices will not be directional. They'll be all over the place, as we say. And we may find ourselves stagnant or stagnating because we don't have a clear direction in which we are moving, so that our choices lead us there. And it also helps us to assess ourselves, to evaluate ourselves. I'm going to point A, how far have I gone? What do I need to do differently? What do I need to change? What choices can I make that will help me to get to where I would like to go? So it is important that we have a sense of direction. And that's why I said the necessity of vision. It is necessary that we have a sense of vision for us to be able to make meaningful choices that move us from one point to another. Then I would like to probably end with this. The foundation for choices, or how do we get to make the choices that we make? What influences our choice making? And in this, I would like to mention our environment. What's the environment around me? Where have I grown up? Who are the people around me? What's the culture around me? What's the what's the influence or the influences that I'm exposed to? What are the circumstances that are around me? All these things affect the choices that we make. The environment that I'm in will affect the choices that I make. For those of you who are familiar with some, scriptures or some words from the Bible, you have heard that of bad company corrupts good character. What does that mean? That the influence I expose myself to will affect my character, will affect how I turn out. In other words, it's going to affect the choices that I make, which in turn are going to affect how my character turns out. So the first big point I would mention as we think about what influences us to choose the way we do, our environment, our culture, the influence around us, the circumstances around us. And secondly, what influences our choices are our values. What are your values? Do you have personal values? Do you have, do you have principles by which you live? Principles by which you shape your life, or at least you try to shape your life. Because, and by the way, whether we are aware of them or not, we have them. They are those intrinsic principles that determine why you do A and not B, why you go to place C and not A. All that is influenced by our values. And this is one thing I would like to challenge us about, to be conscious of the values that influence our choices, so that we are able to exercise some level of control when we are making choices, so that you are able to say, I will not do A because of B. Because this is what I believe, because these are my values, I therefore will do this and not this. I will choose this and not the other. Joanne, you have given me time to just scratch on the surface, and I think I have done scratching.
No, you have done a fantastic job.
You.
Thank you so much, Pastor Alex. Thank you so much, our great neighbor. I think we can send him some virtual flowers and sweets and all that. Yes, and I just wanted, I can see the flowers coming in there.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you have really done justice. I don't even want to undo. I just want to say you have talked about what choices are, why they're important through discussing the benefits, and you have also let us know the how. I really love the other things, the environment. Members, if you have questions, do put in the chat or just unmute. But I just had one question. Somebody said, yes, you said that at a certain age we make choices ourselves. But how come people feel really, even I'm saying I'm going to a Kwanjula. That's why I'm dressed. I'm so smartly dressed today. Is it that some people feel like they are not in charge of the things, the decisions that they make? Even while they make them, they still feel it's somebody else who decided whom they should marry, what they should do. Why is it that some people just feel like, no, it's not me who chose, even when they actually chose? What could be the problem with that? Thank you. But yes, thank you so much for doing justice to this topic.
Thank you, Joanne. And thank you for bringing that question, because it reminds me of something that I had left out that is very critical when it comes to choices. And this is it. Every choice has a price tag. Every choice has a price tag. You will gain something or lose something by the choices you make. So it's up to you to weigh what is at stake. So when there are some choices we make subconsciously, but for the choices that we make consciously, especially the choices that affect the trajectory of our lives, it is important for me to count the cost. What will this cost me? And am I willing to pay the price? For example, let's talk about marriage. I would like to marry Shalon. Maybe my family wants me to marry Mary. So for me choose whether to go with my family or to go with my choice, I have to count what is at stake, what am I going to gain by going with Shalom, and what am I going to lose? What am I going to gain by going with Mary, and what am I going to lose? And what is most important for me? And this ties into what I said, the necessity of vision, because it's connected with where do I want to go? And is this choice going to help me in the direction I'm going? And if this choice is going to help me, like I mentioned, the choice I made when I was making my switching careers, I lost a whole year. There was money lost. But you know what? I considered where I needed to go of more benefit than staying where I was. I didn't have a future just to save some money. So every choice has a price tag. And for us to make good choices, we have to be willing to count the cost and to pay the price.
Yes. Wow. Thank you so much for that. Fulgensia, are there any other questions in the chat? Or is there anyone who would like to unmute and ask a question?
There are no questions in the chat.
Okay, if you see anyone with a hand out, you let us know. But thank you so much, Alex. This has been really a great discussion. Thank you for sharing and for sharing even your personal experiences and how the choices actually influence who you are today. And I think really personally I've gained so much. I think the issue of values and values, the environment, sometimes we dwell too much on the environment. And I mean, at a certain point, you cannot blame your family or the environment, but ultimately it's actually you. So thank you so much. Thank you, Fulgensia, for hosting us on Majesty today. And I think you've put something on the I think the upcoming events that Fulgensia is sharing. We have Beyond Success, so really teaching values to senior 4 leavers. So we will be having it twice a week, and Francis will be leading on that. So if you have senior 4 leavers, do sign up, follow us on our social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, or X, or just WhatsApp us, then you will be able to get more information. I think the other training coming up is around business. So those who would like to become business trainers, coming up in Feb. Yeah, so with those few remarks, if there's no one asking a question, I will hand over back to you, Alex, to just give your parting shots, and we call it a good afternoon and good morning for anyone who may not be in this part of the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity to share these few thoughts with you. Though we haven't met physically, it's wonderful to meet all of you, at least virtually. Thank you so much. May God bless you, and may the Lord give you grace to make those tough choices that you need to make, because you know the value they will add to your life. Thank you so much. May God bless you.
Thank you, and good lunch. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.